From the moment the checkered flag waves at one Grand Prix to the cars lining up on the grid at the next race halfway across the world just a few days later, Formula One pulls off logistical feats that seem impossible. But somewhere behind the scenes, a complex machine is constantly in motion to ensure everything comes together. Let's take a look behind the curtain at the Herculean efforts required to power this global sports spectacle. The traveling circus. With races held across 21 different countries on 5 continents each season, Formula One is about as global a sport as possible. To make this schedule work takes an incredible amount of planning and coordination. Consider this: within the space of just 7 days, the entire F1 operation had to dismantle, transport, and reassemble at the next race on the other side of the planet. That means breaking down the paddock infrastructure at one track, packing everything onto hundreds of trucks, ships, and planes, and then rebuilding everything from scratch thousands of miles away in time for practice sessions and qualifying. It's like taking apart a small city, moving it worldwide, and rebuilding it within a week. The logistics team has to have everything down to a perfectly choreographed science, packing for the trip. So what exactly does the F1 traveling circus entail regarding logistics? Well, for starters, there are over 6,500 tons of freight that need transporting between races. That includes pit garages, platforms and canopies, fences and barriers, timing equipment, grandstands, medical facilities. You name it. It's a mind-boggling amount of material. Then there are the 1,000 plus semi-trailers and trucks required to haul all the cargo. Even more planes and ships are used, with some freight traveling by sea for longer routes, while other items fly to help ensure everything arrives on schedule. Just coordinating all those vehicles and vessels would be a massive project on its own. Taking it apart, putting it back together. Once the race weekend ends, the deconstruction phase kicks into high gear. Within 24 hours of the checkered flag, half the infrastructure must be taken down and shipped out to stay on schedule. Then, over the next few days, the rest of the track is broken down and packaged for transport. Everything has to be carefully sorted, logged, and labeled for the journey. Some parts fly as air freight, while the bulkier sections go by truck or ship in temperature-controlled containers. Then, at the next location, the whole process reverses as the track is rebuilt. Incredibly, crews can fully dismantle, ship, and reassemble circuits like Albert Park or Marina Bay in just a week. Every component has to fit together perfectly or the schedule slips, so the precision involved is stunning. Keeping it all organized, coordinating the global movement of thousands of parts and tons of equipment would be a logistical nightmare without military-grade planning. That's why F1 deploys sophisticated software to methodically schedule and map every detail of the transportation process. Programs track individual shipments between custom-built crates and pallets to the smallest bolt or washer. Nothing is left to chance. Real-time monitoring ensures cargo stays on schedule without delays. And digital systems give teams live visibility into the status of each shipment as it travels to races. The logistics teams take a just-in-time manufacturing approach to keep the racing circus flowing continuously worldwide. It's the logistical equivalent of a perfectly choreographed dance. One small mistake could cause the whole schedule to fall apart. It's a 24/7 operation. While the races only run from Friday to Sunday, the logistics machine powering F1 never stops. Crews work around the clock all season long to facilitate global transport and setup. Even during race weeks, dismantling and shipping out infrastructure begins as construction starts at the next location. Teams of planners sweat every detail for months in advance. Then, when a race concludes, shipping brokers and freight coordinators arrange last-minute airlifts and voyages. At sites, labor crews toil day and night throughout the week to build sterile medical centers, retrofit garages, and piece together grandstand bleachers. It's a perpetual state of furious, organized chaos. But through meticulous project management and tight deadlines, it all comes together race after race like clockwork. While the fans enjoy 3 days of dazzling speed, somewhere in the shadows, an ongoing flurry of activity never rests to keep the show on the road. Behind-the-scenes heroes. Of course, this could only happen with the tireless efforts of logistics professionals working year-round. From coordinators to brokers to freight forwarders and more, These behind-the-scenes transportation wizards are the unsung heroes that literally move F1 mountains. Weathering long hours at race sites means brawny riggers, truckers, and stevedores handling immense heavy lifting. Then in offices worldwide, logistics experts juggle thousands of variables on complex software systems. It's a high-pressure job on one of the sport's most ambitious schedules. Their jobs may not get headlines, but F1 would only exist with the shadowy logistical magicians quietly and efficiently transferring tons of gear across oceans and continents each week. While drivers duel for victories, these pros wage their battles against the clock, and they always seem to win, taking logistics to the extreme. In an age where just-in-time manufacturing is key, Formula One has elevated logistics optimization to an extreme sport. Where other industries might schedule months in advance, F1 pulls off logistical feats on a week-to-week basis like clockwork. Though transportation costs can reach up to $50 million per season, it's necessary for a global show that always keeps moving. Between high-stakes planning, precision execution, and flexing complex technology, F1 logistics represents a pinnacle of what's possible for operations worldwide. They prove that with strategy, perseverance, and cooperation, seemingly impossible logistical puzzles can always be solved, no matter the scale, scope, or deadline pressures involved. It's a display of logistical mastery that's as pulse-pounding as any thrilling race, keeping teams and drivers moving, while immense effort goes into transporting infrastructure around the globe. The biggest logistical challenge is coordinating the movement of teams, drivers, and staff each week. With 10 outfits competing, that amounts to over 1,000 personnel on the road. Organizing international travel plans and accommodations for such a massive operation is a logistical masterstroke. Beyond getting everyone to races on time, teams have intricate schedules dictating simulator work, PR events, testing periods, and more between GPs. Coordinating all those moving parts takes split-second timing. The logistics coordinators within each outfit's resourceful forward planning department take the lead. They meticulously schedule transportation, book hundreds of plane tickets and hotel rooms monthly, and account for evolving regulations too. It's a logistical dance magnified further by the 10 teams' complexities. Powerhouse outfits like Mercedes shift gigantic support crews between far-flung races. Meanwhile, nimbler privateer teams finesse tight budgets over packed itineraries. No matter the size, perfection is expected. Freight forwarders, the behind-the-scenes transportation masters. While teams focus on personnel, specialized freight forwarders handle the immense stream of cargo shuttling parts and equipment between races. As official logistics partners, these transportation wizards are true behind-the-curtain masters. Operating intensive hubs, they intake vast shipments from global racing facilities weeks in advance. Using cutting-edge WMS software, forwarders rigorously schedule cargo flows, factoring origin, destination, regulations, weather, and more. From seas to skies, their domain spans every mode. Entire freighter planes become flying motor pool caravans. Mega container ships carry tons of freight under the ocean. And over roads, monster trailers haul crated vehicles at breakneck pace. Coordinating this symphony of moving parts to precise schedules is an art form. One small delay ripples down the supply chain. But through experience and technology, F1's elite forwarders flawlessly sync thousands of shipments as the racing machine churns around the planet. Engineering the global supply chain. Behind slick, on-track strategy unfolds another metagame. Managing intricate global supply chains shadowing each team's every move. Here, widely distributed engineering operations are precision instruments keeping cars at the cutting edge. Specializing in automation, additive manufacturing, and lean practices, worldwide facilities collaborate in constant motion. Design blueprints, prototype parts, CFD simulations, and more hurdle between countries digitally as updates cascade. Then, a 24/7 ballet unfolds to rapidly produce, inspect, package, and dispatch physical components to races via express shipping. Using advanced logistics to shave mere hours off lead times provides an edge when Melbourne meets Monza in the same season. Through pioneering technology like blockchain, more control is exerted over distributed supplier networks too. With supply chain optimization reaching new heights across industries, Formula One's world-class operations prove how logistics innovation drives competitive advantage at the highest level. If you've enjoyed peeking behind F1's curtains to see the logistics magic, don't miss out. Hit subscribe for your trackside pass to more insider peeks into the hype. The engine's always running here, so start your binge now and floor it with us.